Hey, it's Mike here, and today I want to talk about gaining strength and gaining weight on a vegan diet. This is a bit of a taboo topic whenever I talk about weight. I'm also going to be talking about my own body, which can be kind of weird on the internet. But many of you people requested this. Some people out there really need to gain weight, and I did recently gain a modest amount of weight, 20 pounds, and a lot of strength. And so I want to talk about how I did that. I'm not saying I'm a bodybuilder, and I'm not saying I'm super buff or anything. I just had personal changes. So we're going to talk about those. And right now I can foresee a lot of comments down below of people saying, I have the opposite problem, I need to lose weight. That happens whenever I talk about this. But I will say gaining muscle, which we're gonna talk a little bit about in this video, is important for everybody because the more muscle you have, the better any fat that you have on your body sits. It kind of shapes it out, makes it look better. So keep watching anyway. Okay, so a little bit about my past. I always viewed myself as a hard gainer. That was kind of my excuse. And right now I can say that I am bigger and stronger than I ever was when I ate meat. And so with no animal protein or whatever, I was able to gain about 20 pounds. So here's me down and around 150-ish pounds. And keep in mind, I am over 6 feet. So here's me yesterday flexing really badly under the harshest lighting I could find. And as you can see, no one's gonna be claiming I'm on steroids. You know, I'm still a normal dude, but again, stronger. So I was about 150, 152 pounds, and now I'm closer to 170 to 174 pounds. I went from sort of the middle of the normal BMI to still in the middle of the normal BMI, but I did get a lot stronger. And right here, really quickly, I want to talk about personal body image and body dysmorphia and the pressure for men to be as big and muscly as possible. So for me, my motivators were, yes, when somebody finds out I'm vegan, for them to be like, oh, well, you can still have some muscle when you're a vegan. So they aren't instantly fulfilling their own bias that vegans, no matter what, can't be strong or anything like that. So you shouldn't feel like you have to be huge. And I am by no means a bodybuilder or trying to be a bodybuilder. And I will say another major motivator for me was to just get a stronger frame as I age. According to studies like this one, your ability to squat at age 70 is a major predictor of survival. So I figured if I get stronger, I get a nice foundation of muscle and skeletal muscle, then I might age more gracefully. So let's go back to where I started shifting my habits maybe about 8 months ago. And this is all eating habits. You know, I thought I was a hard gainer, like I said, but a hard gainer is really just total BS. If you think you're a hard gainer, from my experience, there's probably a 90% chance that it's just your eating habits. For example, I was staying up late and working on the computer and not eating during that time and then sort of sleeping through breakfast, or I would sleep just past breakfast so I'd have to wait for lunch. And that was just a way of accidentally starving myself. And I'm not the only one that does this. I know other people that do that too. And somebody else who isn't a hard gainer might be snacking a lot when you don't see it. And so it really is just math. And yeah, everybody might have slightly different math. Someone might gain weight a little bit easier, but I would just say don't use the hard gainer attitude as an excuse to not actually examine your own food intake, which brings me to calories. And obviously I'm going to talk about Chronometer like I always do. So obviously you can track your calories on Chronometer. You can also do it on MyFitnessPal. And the reason I decided to actually try and do this, I did it for 2 weeks initially, was because I saw Robert Cheek's presentation talking about how he worked out really hard in the gym, basically every day for an entire year, and he gained 1 pound. And then he examined his diet and ate more, and then he started gaining a lot of muscle. And so I just tried the same thing, and I immediately gained some weight. So initially I aimed for 3,000 calories just to see what would happen. And then I realized that I only probably needed more like 2,500 to allow my body to gain weight. And it was that breakfast situation. If I missed that 600 or so calorie breakfast, then that was the difference between me being at like 2,400 or 1,800 calories for the day, which is obviously a total calorie deficit. But breakfast for me was the biggest change, and many of you have heard my breakfast 1,000 times, but it's steel cut oatmeal. I usually do 3/4 of a cup dry, and then I add a ton of different fruit. I have frozen blueberries, sometimes I'll do a banana, but I'll almost always do a little apple in there, and then I'll throw cinnamon on it, and that's a good 600 calorie start for me, 700 calories sometimes. But if you can't fit that much oatmeal, when you first start doing that, you can't eat that much. And so you can always put like a tablespoon of nut butter, preferably one that isn't high saturated fat nut butter, just because it's healthier. Now I'm going to bust out a theory that is so unscientific that I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I feel like my body, when I was eating under a certain threshold of calories, just didn't want to put on any muscle, didn't want to put on any weight. But once I significantly went over that and consistently went over that, then my body was like, okay, now I can grow. I have the resources. But on the topic of diet, I do want to mention that I was not relying on any of these crazy protein powders or BCAAs or anything like that, except for the branched chain amino acids that are naturally occurring in plant foods like legumes. I just kind of ate a little bit more calories, the same diet I was eating, and ended up allowing my body to get bigger and stronger a little. And then another major change that I made was just making sure that I didn't go hungry for an extended period of time. So having those snacks around, having that fruit around, or having some oatmeal cookie in my ebook, not even trying to plug my ebook, but now I guess I am. Our cookbook has these little oatmeal cookies in them, and we made those a bunch of times, and I would just kind of throw them in my mouth whenever I was hungry between meals. So that probably helped. I guess oatmeal is just the solution to everything in my life. No, we also have little hemp super bars in there. Those aren't oatmeal. So now let's move on to the workout regimen that I had. And if you're really trying to get some crazy results or start bodybuilding, definitely go to another channel, follow somebody like Vegan Gains or John Venus or Simnett Nutrition, super fit dude, definitely check him out. But what I did was just work out about 4 times a week, alternating arm day and leg day. And I definitely did rely on Athlean-x. I would definitely check out that channel. He is very open-minded toward vegan diets, and I will say he had some really good information for posture correction and figuring out what muscles are underdeveloped and working on those. And a lot of times he'll talk about a muscle that you maybe thought was tight actually just being weak, and so that really helped me strengthening some of those muscles and just targeting that weak part of your body that you feel like you need to go for. He'll have like 4 or 5 super good exercises for that. But like I said, went to the gym about 4 days a week, which actually means trying to go 7 days a week and then failing 3 days a week. That's the reality of the situation. And arm day, leg day sort of manifested as 8 to 12 reps with 3 sets on basically every exercise that I did. Arm day would be curls, bench press, military press, pull-ups, and maybe some dips, and just working your triceps and your biceps and your shoulders and your back, and just kind of trying to hit everything, and then doing the same thing with legs, you know, doing the squats and doing the hammy curls, and also doing lunges and little calf raises and stuff like that. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. Now, I will be fully transparent and say I don't think it's all 100% muscle. I didn't get a DEXA scan or anything like that. I did not get super chubby or anything like that. I mean, I know people that have, you know, gone on a meat-based bulk and ended up with sleep apnea. So I'm not going that far, but I definitely am going to start incorporating some more cardio, doing some mini sort of pretend triathlon training stuff. I've been swimming laps, and I'm going to start running more and maybe bike a little bit. To tie things up here, I felt a little weird making this video because it's not like I got some amazing crazy results. It's not like I'm super jacked or anything like that, but I also felt like it was an important video to make because it's hard to make that first step toward becoming more fit or toward your goal. And I feel like as somebody that doesn't specialize in this stuff, I was able to do it, you know, get moving. And so hopefully that was a little bit of an inspiration. If you have any particular questions about how I bridged some particular gap in terms of, you know, calories or working out, let me know. I will maybe cover that in another video in the future and maybe cover a little bit more actual exercise science, get into muscular hypertrophy and stuff like that. But I always feel weird talking about that just because I'm not a jack dude or anything like that. But, you know, science is science, so why not? And finally, to reiterate it really is all about calories. You might think you're eating a lot at a meal and people see you eating a lot and you're going, oh, you eat a lot, but throughout a 24-hour period, are you really doing that consistently so you can give your body a chance to grow? I certainly was not, and I would venture to say that a lot of other people aren't as well. So just even a day or two to just track your calories and say, oh, that's half as much calories as I thought I was eating, or okay, that is enough. All right, that's it for today. Feel free to like and subscribe and let me know down below whether I look like I'm emaciated or on steroids, because apparently those are the only 2 options to the internet. Just kidding, but let me know down below if you're trying to get stronger on a vegan diet or anything like that and you have any interesting points to share. All right, so thanks for watching. See you next time.